Hi, I'm Laura from Move Wellness, and today we're going to do a Strengthen with Pilates class. After this class, I want you to feel like you've gotten a good workout in just 20 minutes. So, you want to always listen to the advice of your doctor, and if there's anything that needs to be modified, please do. So, let's get started. So, we're going to get started. You're going to move to the end of your mat, facing the end, long mat stretch out in front of you. And let's take a look down at your feet. They should be parallel. And before we do anything, I want you to just press your heels into the floor. And as you're pressing your heels into the floor, I want you to think of your sit bones reaching towards the backs of your heels. So we're going to feel this little hook in our low belly, nice and strong. Drop your shoulders down and just nod your chin. And just keep all of that set up. Your heels are pressing down. Your sit bones are reaching towards the backs of your heels. And we're going to round down just nice and easy. And you're going to bend your knees when it's time. And you're going to know when that is. And once we're at the bottom, I want you to pull your belt loop to the ceiling as if there's a fish hook in it. And your arms and legs are dangling away from that fish hook, the belt loop, and we're going to start to stand all the way back up, reaching your sit bones towards the backs of the knees as soon as you can, pressing those heels into the floor until we're all the way up. And look straight forward, and let's nod your chin again, keeping all of that set up, heels pressing down, sit bones reaching towards the backs of your heels. Let your arms dangle. Think of your head, round your shoulders, belly pulls up. Reaching those sit bones towards the backs of the knees as long as you can. Bend your knees as you need to. Hang there for a moment. Let's take a big breath in. And as you come up, you're going to press those heels into the floor first. Right away, reach the sit bones towards the backs of the knees. You could feel that in your abs as you stack your spine all the way up. One vertebra on the next, and you're looking straight forward again, nice and tall. Last one, we're going to go all the way down this time. Nodding your chin, all of that is still in place. Press your heels into the floor, sit bones reaching towards the backs of the knees, backs of the heels, rounding down. Pull your belly to the ceiling. That fish hook is pulling your belt loop to the ceiling, arms and legs dangling away from that belt loop. Now let's reach our hands towards the floor, and we're going to walk all the way out to a tabletop. Uncurl your toes so the tops of the feet are on the floor. And let's do just a couple of cat stretches here. So I want you to pull your belt loop again to the ceiling. Your head's going to drop because it's following the action of the spine. And now drop your belly towards the floor and your head and tail lift. Shine that sternum forward. Get a nice extension here. And the belly pulls back up. Tailbone curls to the back of the knees. Pull the belt loop to the ceiling. Your head drops because the action of the spine, you're in this nice flexion here. Drop your belly towards the floor, your head and tail lift. Then we're going to go to the center. So we want to think of a neutral position. Your belly's pulled up away from your shirt. Press the floor away with your hands. Now we're going to reach your opposite arm and leg away from each other. And I just want you to stretch that arm and leg out away from each other. Keep it on the floor for now. Level out your hips. Keep them level. Bring your hands and knee back in. I'm going to scoot myself forward just a touch. Make sure I'm centered on my mat. Now the opposite, arm and leg. You've switched. Arm and leg reaches away from each other as long as you can get it. Without hovering, level out your hips. Now bring the knee and hand back in. Let's switch again. This time we are going to lift the arm and leg off the floor. We're going to exhale to lift. And lower down. Bring the hand and knee back in. Let's switch. Arm and leg reach. And lift. Lower both. Slide everything back in. Keeping your hips level. There's headlights on the front of your hip bones. Those headlights are shining straight down to the floor the whole time. When you lift the leg, lift from the base of your seat. Reaching out through the arm and leg. Lower the hand, lower the knee. Let's lift it and hold it this time. So you're going to reach and hold it lifted. I want you to just bend your knee. You're going to bend your knee. The knee stays level with your hip. Stretch it back out. Let's do that one more time. And stretch it out. Lower the hand, lower the knee. Let's switch. Arm and leg reaches. Lift it up. Hold that lift. Level out your hips. Pull your belly up. Bend the knee stays lifted even with your hip. One last time. And lower the hand, lower the knee. We're going to go to the other side again. Arm and leg reaches. Lift the arm and leg off the floor. Now, as that knee bends, the opposite arm is going to sweep around Tap towards the foot. Sweep that arm back by your ear. Let's do that again 2 more times. Level out your hips. Knee stays level with the hip. Arm sweeps around. Let's bring the arm and leg away from each other. 1 more time. Knee bends. Sweep around with that arm. Swimming around. Bring that arm back up by your ear. Hand comes down. Knee comes down. Let's switch. Arm and leg reach. Lift it off the floor. Level out your hips. Bend the knee. Sweep the arm, reaching back towards that. Now we want to make sure that your knee stays facing the floor, so you're not getting into any external rotation with that leg that's moving. 1 last time. Arm and leg reach. Let's bring your hand and knee to the floor. And I want you to sit back on your heels. All the way back. Reach your arms over your head. And get a nice shell stretch here. Can you pull your belly away from your thighs? Little more abdominal activation there. Then we're going to come all the way down to your belly, into this prone position. Your hands are going to be fingertips together over your head. And I'm looking down at the floor. My feet are wide. So we're going to get into some extension here. I want you to lift the chest off the floor. You're shining that shiny headlight right in the center of your chest towards your hands. My fingertips are together, fingertip and thumb. Let's lower your shoulders all the way down and lift again. Inhale right here. Pull the belly up, press your hips down, lengthen the low back, press the tops of the feet into the floor, hover your kneecaps, lower down. And again, we're lifting, pressing those elbows into the floor. Now, stay lifted as if you're dragging yourself forward. And I want you to take those hands apart. You're pivoting on your elbow. Maybe you'll stay right here, or maybe you'll lift the elbows off the floor. Pull your belly up, lower the elbows down, pivot the hands towards each other, lower everything down. Let's lift again. Lengthening out, shine that shiny light right at the center of your chest forward. Press your hips down, kneecaps lifted, tops of the feet pressing down. Pivot those hands apart. You're going to hover the elbows off the floor. Lower the elbows, pivot those hands back together, and lower down. Let's do it again. Lift, shine the chest forward. You can stay right here, or move on into that hands pivot apart. Hover the elbows off the floor, lower the elbows to the floor, pivot those hands back together, lower down. We're going to move on from here. So I want you to lift, shining that sternum forward. And remember, the hips are pressing down. Pivot the hands apart. Now, everybody's going to reach their arms just a little bit longer. So my arms are basically straightened out here. Press your right hand down. Left hand lifts. Lower that. Left hand presses down. Right hand lifts. Lower that. One hand down, opposite lifts. Now, whatever hand is lifted, the opposite leg is going to lift. We're going to come into some sort of a swimming situation. Hand down, opposite arm lifts, and the leg across the body lifts with the arm. Lower down and switch. So whatever is down is pressing down and switch and switch. Whatever is lifted is reaching out longer. Pull your belly up and switch and switch. Lengthen out the top of the head and switch and switch. Your gaze is at the floor. You're shining that sternum forward. 2 more lifts. Last one. Lower everything down. I want you to slide your hands under your shoulders so that we can come back into a shell stretch. Again, pulling the belly away from your thighs. Getting a nice stretch into the lower back. And let's come all the way up. We're going to come onto our back now. Oh, sorry. And so into this shell stretch. Let's come forward onto your elbows. Now on your elbows, I want you to press the floor away. And let's start with our hands apart. So if you look down, our forearms are in an 11, the number 11. I want you to tuck your toes under, slide those knees a little bit closer so that you can hover the hips off the floor. Now right away, start to pull your belly away from your shirt. And I want you to lift one knee. Let's start with the left knee. You're just going to hover that left knee off the floor, lower that knee and switch. As the knees are lifting, keep the hips level. If you press your fists and your elbows and your feet into the floor, you'll find yourself sort of level out. Lift one knee, then the other. Now, whatever knee you have lifted, let's lift the other to meet it. Hold it there. Pull your belly up. Reach your tailbone towards the backs of the knees. Now I want you to tap one knee to the floor, lift it. Tap your other knee to the floor, lift it. And tap and lift. And switch. And switch. Press your fists down. Press your elbows down. Feet are down. And you're just tapping that elbow to the floor. We'll go 4 more. Here's 3 and 2 and 1. Both knees come down. Let's come all the way down. And I want you to come all the way onto your back. So once we make it there, let's bring your feet. We're going to have them hip width apart right now. Or think of your feet are right in line with your sit bones. And I want your entire foot, the whole bottom side of your feet, pressing down into the floor. So when your palms are pressing down, your shoulders are lengthened into the mat and the back of your head is pressing down. Let's curl the tailbone towards the backs of the knees. Reach the sit bones towards the backs of the knees. Now curl the tail up off the floor and we're going to articulate your spine so the hips are lifted. Bone by bone, the spine lifts away from the floor and then we lower down, top to bottom. Reaching your tail towards the backs of your heels as you settle down. Let's come do that again. Curl the sit bones towards the backs of the knees. Bone by bone, the spine lifts away from the floor. Lift the hips up and down, top to bottom, all the way down. We're going to go back up there again, and we're going to stay this time. So once the tailbone curls to the backs of the knees, bone by bone, the hips lift off the floor, the spine lifts off the floor. Now, once those hips are lifted, let's press those feet down, reach your knees over your toes. It's like you're trying to create a wrinkle in your mat, dragging your feet back towards your hands. Now, I want you to hover your right heel off the floor, just the heel. So you're going to press that left heel into the floor. Lower that heel and switch. And as you're lifting and lowering, the hips are going to stay level. So these headlights on the front of your hips are shining up to the ceiling and they're not tipping. So switch and lower and switch. Let's press those palms down and lengthen your arms towards the backs of your heels. Now I want you to start to pass through it. So we go to a high heel position and then one heel taps down and switch and switch and switch. Both heels are lifted together and then one heel lowers and then switches. Yeah. So, and switch and switch and switch and switch. Keep the knees reaching over your toes. Keep those heels switching. You're just tapping the heel now. Reach the fingertips longer. 4 more. 3, 2, last 1. Let's lower both heels to the floor. And as you come down, you're going to melt the spine down all the way down until the tailbone reaches towards the backs of your heels. So we're going to do a single leg stretch. So I want you to start by bringing both feet off the floor, bring your knees in, and I want you to wrap your hands around one shin. We're going to reach the opposite leg up to the ceiling. That leg that you've got your hand wrapped around, press your shin into your hand hard. Now we're going to keep it just like that. I want you to switch and just go to the other side. And switch. And switch. So every time you grab a shin, you're pressing the shin into your hand. Hard. Like really get into it. Now let's start to raise our shoulders up off the floor. Now the tips of your shoulder blades should be lifted. I can sit here and talk and breathe, and this is pretty comfortable right now. There's no strain in my neck. If there is, you need to lower your head to the floor. Start to hover those legs closer to the floor as they stretch out. Keep that press into your shin hard. Now switch and switch and switch and switch. Keep going and switch. Exhale, breathe in. Exhale, breathe in. Exhale, breathe in. 4 more. Here's 3 and 2. Whatever leg you're on, let's just hold it. Lower the shoulders to the floor. And I want you to take, so let's start, everybody's going to be on your left side, sorry. You're going to take your right hand, place it on that left thigh. Take the outside hand. You know what? I'm going to go to this side so you can see me a little bit better. The opposite hand is on your thigh. Once the hand that's the same leg, that's going to be bent, is supporting your head. Let's lift your shoulders up off the floor. Now, we're going to bend and straighten the leg that you don't have hold of. So you're rotating that elbow open. Here's your crisscross. So your hand is pressing into that thigh. Let's do 4 stretches. Here's 3 and 2 and 1. Bring the knee in. We're just going to switch. Hand to the back of the head. The opposite hand reaches to the opposite knee. We press into that hard. The leg that's free is going to stretch out and in. Exhale, breathe in. Exhale, breathe in. Last one, breathe it in. Let's go to the other side. Hand on your thigh. Stretch and bend the free leg. 2. Here's 3 and 4. Bring it in. Switch sides. Hand on the thigh. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Switch right away. Let's go. 2 less sets right here. 2 and 3 and 4. Here's your last one. Reach that leg that's moving way out there. And 2 and 1. Let's bring both knees in. Lower your shoulders to the floor. And we're going to do some leg circles. So both feet come to the floor to start. And I want your right leg or left leg to stretch out long. Your right leg is the one that's going to be doing the moving. So the leg that's stretched out long, let's flex that foot and press the back of the leg into the floor. Now the backs of the arms, the back of your head, the palms, or if you need to turn those palms up to get the shoulders open, that's okay too. The whole back side of your body is melting into the floor. Let's do circles with that free leg. So we'll do 6 circles. And it's an inhale, exhale. If I've lost count, forgive me. We're going to switch direction. And I would say 6 or 8 circles is fine. Nothing's perfect. Let's go 3 more circles. And 2. And 1. Now that leg that you have lifted is going to stay lifted. The bottom leg that's on the floor is going to press down into the floor. Point that bottom leg so that you have the a little bit more flexion in the back of the leg. And you're going to press your palms down, press your shoulders down. Can you hover the hips off the floor here? And then lower down. Let's do it again. Exhale, lift the hips off the floor, lower. One more time, lift. Can you get any clearance behind the hips? Lower that down. We're going to stretch out both legs, and I want you to just feel the difference between each leg and how much more alive or what the comparison is. And then let's just bend your left leg now, and your right leg is flexed and pressing into the floor. And right there, you already feel sort of this back chain start to turn on. The leg that's circling is the bent leg that's free, and let's circle. Keeping the backs of your leg, the back side of your body, as still as possible. Make sure you're glancing up at the ceiling so we have a nice long neck. After 6 circles, we're going to switch direction. And 2 and 3. That bottom foot, the toe, and the knee are facing the ceiling. 1 last circle. And then with that leg staying right there, point the bottom foot. You're going to press your palms down now. Shoulders pressed down because you're going to try to hover the hips off the floor and then lower down. Let's try it 2 more times. Lift the hips, lower the hips. 1 more time. Lift and lower. Bring both knees into your chest. Nice work, you guys. Let's over to one side. That bottom knee is going to be forward, and the top knee is bent out to the side in a sort of a Z position. Let's just do some nice side bend here, up and over. And lengthen as you reach up and over. So the arm is reaching along, up to the ceiling. Get some length and over. Now, whatever knee is in front, you're going to take, that knee's going to stay there, and your elbow is going to come down so that top leg now can stretch out. Let's fold it all the way back in and up and over. and do it again. Elbow on the floor, top leg stretches out. And bring it up and over. One more like that. And know that you can keep it right where you're at, where you're comfortable, or move on a little bit to more of a side plank situation. So that hand is going to be straight. Lift and reach into a side plank. Down without plopping, and up and over. Let's go up again. Hand straight, top leg stretches out. Down without plopping. And over. Reach up and over, and then down. One last time. Here we go. Up, reach. Can we hold it this time? Reach the arm and leg away from each other. Get some length. And then down without plopping. Let's go to the other side. Side bend first. We have their feet or knees in this Z position, and let's bring it up and over, lengthening both sides of your body, up and over. When the hand is down on the floor, it's pretty close to my hip, so I can actually press that hand into the floor. I'm trying to lift my hips off the floor and over. Now that hand that's on the floor, the elbow's going to come down, the top leg stretches out, fold it all the way back in. And let's do that again. Elbow down, top leg stretches, bring it back in, up and over. And again, arm reaches and bring it in. Remember the next level after this one is a straight arm. Side plank sort of setup, hand on the floor. Come up to that knee, reach the arm and leg. You're going to fold it all back up without falling. Over and again, hand on the floor, top leg reaches, top arm reaches. Fold it back up without plopping. We're going to use an exhale to come down. And here's your last one. We're going to stay up there this time. Reach up and over. Hold it and reach longer. And let's fold it all the way back up and over. Thanks for working out with Move Wellness. If there's any questions, comments, or suggestions for future YouTube content, please leave a comment below. And remember to keep moving this week.